Hey everyone, I posted about this early in the week. Mosaic brands going into administration, portfolio group of 9 fashion labels across Australia and New Zealand as well, both in store and online retail. Basically, what the data was showing is that from a branded traffic perspective, they were fairly stable over the last couple of years. Some seasonal rises for end of financial year, end of year sales, nothing major. But from a non-branded perspective, the traffic across the whole group was fairly flat, dipped down a bit, and then shot up like 7 times from about 70,000 to 350,000 monthly visitors at its peak. And within the space of 3 months, then basically crashed back down and is at a lower low ever since. This trend was across literally every single site in the group. And what we can see here is that where these were previously your standard small size online retail fashion store with a couple thousand pages, suddenly going up to 100, 120,000 pages there again consistently. There, 1,500 pages up to 57,000, again 2,000 up to 50,000, which is basically a build out of an entire marketplace directory on their site, suddenly selling vacuum cleaners, towels, silk pillowcases, candles, Bluetooth speakers, umbrellas, fire pits, you name it, it was on there. And my, I guess, insight and hypothesis is that for brands that have been known to Google for so long as a fashion retailer selling women's clothing, dresses, jeans, skirts, tops, denim, whatever it might be, to suddenly launch out and be selling the likes of what a Temple and Webster or Maya would be doing with everything and absolutely everything from a home perspective, is that at some point either the user signals on these were not good enough. Google decided that it was too far outside of their area of relevancy or competency, if you believe in that. And what we ultimately saw is that came crashing back down to earth and fell to levels lower than it was before there. Part of what I'd be looking at in this perspective is that obviously there's business decisions. If the writing was on the wall, financial pressures where they might have decided, as a last ditch effort last year to give this a shot and see if it worked, and it obviously did work for a point in time, but ultimately not long term. What I'd also say is that a much bigger opportunity here is to keep your focus on what you're good at, what you're known at. If you're scrolling on the homepage of, Rockman's one of the brands, for example, okay, clothes, a couple of sale options, dresses, shorts, great. And then we're suddenly selling a barbecue cook plate and an outdoor umbrella and hanging garden baskets and towels and an evaporative cooler. It doesn't really line up, doesn't really make a lot of sense for Google as to what your website is actually about, what you're focusing on, what you're selling. I did make the sort of counter argument in that post also that you could say, well, Kmart can do it, or Big W or Maya can sell this whole wide, diverse range of products. Yes, they can, but they've also got that as a known concept and entity within Google and within what they've been doing consistently for the last 20 years. They don't just spin up a massive product range and division like this overnight. And ultimately, I think that the way the user signals and how this sort of content and new products and sections on the site would have performed is something that over time Google would have, again, tried it out, popped them up high in the rankings because these websites obviously had some level of authority or credibility to them. But obviously over time, these sections have then just come crashing straight back down and not really helping the business or the portfolio at all. Part of what is much more of an opportunity that I would see here from an e-commerce perspective is to be better at what their core focus is. If you look at denim, for example, or jeans, this comes from under the jeans link here. There's 1,100 products, which is a huge range and a lot that you can categorize and cluster and segment within this. If we look at keywords and things that people are searching for in Australia, there's 500,000 monthly searches, and look at these things: baggy jeans, low rise, wide leg, straight leg, mum, boot cut. These are all jean types or subcategory basically products that you can create landing pages. So similarly on a color perspective, white, black, again, grey, dark blue, more of the product styles here, high-waisted, boyfriend jeans, mid-rise, etc. None of these exist as landing pages within this sort of menu or this structure. And even though you've got 1,100 different products here, any of the filter menus on the side, color. I mean, there's not even a category one to sort of filter by, the boyfriend or the higher cut, low rise, whatever it might be. There's no way for Google to see that collection of pages or that collection of products and a clear linking hierarchy within it. So there's no way that a site like this would be able to rank for any of these keywords. And that, I would argue, is a much stronger SEO opportunity to pursue and much more likely to get you results than plugging in an external, API marketplace feed of all these products that you don't actually stock, you don't actually sell, you don't have unique copy on, you don't have reviews, you don't have a lot of other information about them. Even if we do go to one of these pages, click on some cushions, the experience with the rest of the site is still then linking back to, other core fashion and clothing products that they're actually selling. Again, all provided by a third party. This is all coming from a feed. There's nothing unique that Rockman's is adding to this as a product. So if you're searching for cushions in Google, this is over time not something that Google is going to rank highly and show off in there. So very interesting to see it executed as well on such a large scale across multiple websites all at once, see that rise, see that fall. It's very, very interesting to me from an SEO perspective, and part of, again, what you can always argue for and against, quantitatively, qualitatively. You can have your opinions, you can back it up by data, you can see this out in the real world that, yes, things like this will work up to a certain point until they don't anymore. And then it's likely to come back and bite you and probably end you up worse off than where you started. So always interesting things in SEO to find and uncover. Let me know your thoughts here. Cheers.